What's up guys, Eldron here back in Gran Turismo, where today we're asking the real question of what's worse, my driver rating or my connection. Going to be a fierce battle today as we head into our first race. We're going to step away from using the Porsche 911 for this first race and actually use the Corvette instead. So into turn one, nothing special here, no big moves being made, just trying to keep it nice and tidy. Just try and stay on the track is the main thing, especially with these connection issues. Getting into wheel-to-wheel action might not be the easiest thing to do. But as we come through the S-bends of the section 1, we're going to come alongside the Supra, which is currently the overpowered car in Group 3 races. Up on the inside, not able to hold the place into the left-hander, as the Supra is going to come and cut us off around the exit of the corner. Thankfully manages to miss us, so we're able to stay in this race. We're going to tuck in behind, come down the hill, see if we can try and take that place again on the inside. He goes straight through us as we take a bit of curb on the right side. Oh, and we've spun out on the exit of the corner into the barrier, as we're going to lose some places, or pretty much all the places here. Yeah, down into 16th. We try and recover. We spin again as we get back onto the track, and that's going to pretty much ruin our race, put us out of the race. It's going to be an early victory for the connection here, who despite being in the red has outperformed us and has actually improved as we come round the final bend of the final laps. You see here in 15th place as we've had someone leave. The ping has improved, our driving ability has not. So it's 1-0 to the connection for being better, which is quite embarrassing given the position it was in. Into the second race, we're going to hop over into the Z4 instead, which I'm going to have to apologise for slightly, as it's not the nicest sounding car, and I don't think this camera angle is very nice either. But into turn one, looking at the inside of the Mercedes to take 9th place quite easily there. A good start to the race from us here in the new car, in the BMW, but the Mercedes is going to look to battle back through the S-bends on the right hand side, takes a bit of curb but is able to get round, cuts us off slightly on the exit, but we stay in the race and back down into 10th. So all that work in turn one, great move, now gone out the window. But we're going to see if we can get this place back wide into the exit. Don't quite get to the apex as we're turning in, which is not what we want. We're losing time there, especially as we're going to get slightly challenged from behind. The Mercedes goes wheel to wheel with a Porsche as they go through each other through the S-bends, which is probably the bit of a downside of Gran Turismo, over ghosting, which allows people just to basically run into each other and get away with it sometimes. But into the left hairpin, we see the Mercedes actually go off into the grass, as again we completely miss the apex there, which causes us to fall further behind the Porsche. We got right into the back of it early on into the corner, but up into 9th place due to driver error, as we get a bit of a slide hitting the curb on the left hander there, and a fellow competitor has also gone into the barrier on the left hand side there, the GTR. But we've lost a lot of places due to that error, down into 12th. So there's going to be a big recovery here just to get back to where we even started, the place we would then get up to in this first lap. Not a great opening lap for us at all, as we're going to follow the Frenchman in the Corvette ahead of us into turn one and hopefully get a better run in as he goes completely wide. We're still not getting onto that inside curb either, missing apexes more than I miss my girlfriend, who has left me from playing too many games. Given by, or looking at the quality of the racing so far, I clearly weren't playing enough. As the Corvette gets untidy, we've got a big gap of almost 11 seconds to the leaders to try and make up here. Using the curb on the right hand side once again, just getting nowhere near that inside curb until very late. Oh, but the Corvette's into the wall and spins out on the right hand side, giving us 11th place, a free place there for us, as we now look to get onto the charge to get into this group ahead of us. Hitting the curbs on the S-bends on the way through here. There's another driver off onto the grass, the Swede in the Ferrari, going slowly after hitting the grass, as we're able to move up into 10th there, gaining some places back. So we look to see if we can hunt down the GTR ahead of us and our friend from before, the Mercedes, as he's able to recover well from going wide early in lap 1. Through the S's near end, and the GTR now is off into the grasses. He's going to be slow from the barrier hit, allows us to get up into 9th as we head into the final bend of the lap. Can we get a nice run? Oh no, a bit of a slide on the exit, which is going to slow us down a bit and stop us from catching the German ahead of us in the Mercedes. Isn't what we want at all. Later into the lap, we've still not really gained any time at all. We head through this S-bend, a yellow flag ahead of us. Oh, we have another driver off track in the 911 there as he hits the barrier on the right hand side. That gives us another place up into 7th. So no places gained on our own merit so far. Although you can say it's our own merit for not crashing off, as we again miss the apex on the inside of that corner. Going to be very slow on the exit there, showing that despite staying on the track, the driving ability still is got some work to do if we're going to outperform the connection, even though that's improving as well, making it more difficult for us. Coming through the final bend, we have a driver on a penalty. He's pushed a bit wide by the Mercedes. A little snap of oversteer from us on the exit, which isn't going to give us a great run down the home straight. We've got 2 drivers on a penalty ahead of us. The Polish driver in the Porsche there, we're able to get past. There's quite a hefty penalty. The Brit in the Porsche, who's now in 5th, not as harsh for penalties, so we're able to stay ahead, but is going to give us a chance to close this gap down, as we've just done. So we're going to tuck in behind these through the S-bends as they battle it out between them, and we try and close in as much as we can. A little bit closing down the gap there as we come to the second half of the lap, as the Brit takes a lot of curb and a bit of grass on the right-hander. It's going to give them a slow exit as we start to come up the hill and maybe look to mount a challenge into the left-handed hairpin, tucking behind, looking outside, looking inside, looking back outside. We get rammed in the back from the Spaniard who's going to come through on the inside here in the Mercedes. It's a little bit untidy on the exit, but it drops us back down into 7th after being hit in the back there while we were looking for a move. Take a lot of curb on the inside of the left-hander, which is going to slow us down as well, especially with both cars ahead of us not getting a good exit. We could have done better there as the Spaniard goes for a dive at the inside. Bit of contact between the two. Manages to get through though, up into 5th place with that dive bomb, as they're going to bat it out between them. Hopefully they can keep making contact and slow each other down into this final lap and give us maybe a chance of getting a place back. They battle between them into turn 1. We're just going to try and be as tidy and as quick as possible, try and get a good exit if we can, but we get just a couple of tyres on the grass, which is going to slow us down. We get untidy ahead of us, a huge taking of the grass there from the driver ahead of us, and it's the Spaniard who's going to spin out and give us 6th place. So again, another free place for us there, just by being able to stay on the track, only just after getting on the grass. But we're going to get overtaken on the inside by the Polish driver from earlier, who's picked up yet another penalty in this final lap, half a second. So if we can stick to the back of him for the rest of this lap, we're going to be able to get a place up into 6th, as the Brit takes so much grass on the right-hander, taking a lot of the corner, going to be slow on the exit there. The Polish driver is able to gain on him. We're not able to stick to the back. There's 0.7 of a second, 7/10 behind. We have a nicer left-hander though, which brings us back into contention for both of the cars ahead, as they're going to battle it out through the S-bends. Polish driver looking left, looking right, not able to make a way through, but dives up the inside as the Brit goes wide into the wall and gives us a place into 6th. We can see that the Polish driver is going to slow down, and we've closed that gap again right on the back of the Porsche in this final corner. A little bit of a slide, we managed to hold on, but it's going to be 5th place for us, as we're going to get past him as he takes the penalty across the line. 5th place. We'll call that 1-1 between driving ability and connection. Back into the Porsche for this next race, back into our trusty steed. See what we can do in a familiar car. We look to go around the outside of turn 1 on a fellow Porsche, taking a nice wide line, looking if can we cut in on the exit of the corner. Not quite, as we're able to just stick on the back of the German ahead of us through the S-bends after not making a move. Just try and keep as tight as possible. The Italian in the Mazda getting a bit untidy ahead. We're just going to try and follow the Porsche, try and go in between the two cars here, which could be dangerous into the left-hander. Managed to get up the inside of the Mazda, but he cuts back on the inside and then is able to ghost straight through us. Unbelievable overtake. Why go around a car when you can just drive straight through it? Thank you, the Gran Turismo, for that. As we get nudged on the inside, as we come through the S section from a fellow Porsche driver, going to knock us back into 7th, as we're a bit slow through there anyway, but taking the hit as well. Into the left hairpin here, we're going to again be ghosted through by 2 cars looking to overtake us. 4 cars end up coming through in the end as we're very slow on the exit. We're down into 11th now at the end of the first, or coming into the end of the first lap, which isn't what we wanted at all in our return to this car. A bit of carnage ahead of us as the Mercedes goes wide, the Porsche is slow, and we can't get through as they just ghost through each other into the final corner. Very wide there as we tuck in on the inside and able to take the places back. Another driver off in the grass on the left hand side puts us up into 8th place as we're looking to follow Agent Berger here into turn 1. So some free places there from some bad driving ahead of us. We look for a move up the inside here on the Ford GT, able to keep a nice tight line and take the place into 7th. So some good driving there finally from us to put a nice move up the inside of the Ford GT. So we're going to skip along some of this lap as we try and close down on the Brit ahead of us, not making too much of an indent into that gap as we head into the final part of the lap. But he's going to be a little bit slow around this left-hander, and we're going to pull a little bit of time back, not a huge amount, but it shows that we have a chance here. If he's going to be a bit untidy, takes a bit of curb, runs a bit wide, gets a bit untidy on the exit, again giving us a bit of time as we head into the final corner. Late braking from us, he takes so much of the corner, gets so untidy and is so slow out the exit. We go wide around the outside and is able to take 5th place from the 911 here with a great move around the outside as he takes too much curb, gets untidy, just under 5 seconds from the leader. So a lot of work to do if we want to win this race in the remaining laps. As we head through lap 3, a bit of a distance from this front pack, managed to cut into it a bit as we come into the final half of the lap. A little battle ahead of us, which hopefully will give us a chance to make a move. Very wide, again missing apexes left, right and centre around this circuit, as we try and pull back on the drivers ahead of us. A bit wide from the German into the left-hander, causing him to go a bit slow. The Spaniard's looking to get alongside around the outside maybe of the final bend, but brakes early, looking for maybe a potential switchback, but unable to get the run on the exit of the corner. But we're able to close down on these two quite nicely to tuck in behind for maybe a bit of slipstream down the home straight. 2 laps to go. We pulled a bit on the leader as well, just over 3 seconds now to him, but the lead isn't really what we're looking for. It's these 2 drivers ahead, which would give us a podium place. Look for the switchback on the Peugeot, get up the inside to get alongside. A bit of contact as he cuts in for the first S-bend, and that's just going to get us untidy and pushes a bit on the grass, take a bit of curb and slow us right down. And all of that hard work to pull back on this leading pack has just gone to waste, as we're also overtaken again by Breezy in the Porsche. His lovely Louis Vuitton Porsche coming through on the inside of the left-hander. So a lot of work from the past couple of laps gone to waste now. So we're going to follow Breezy through the rest of this lap to the final corner. Trying to get good. Both of us trying to close down on the 2 cars ahead now. If we can both land a challenge, we get the fastest lap. You can see on the left hand side there, so definite potential in this final lap to gain some places. We're lapping faster than the other drivers. Breezy tucks nicely on the inside here. We go a bit wider, again nowhere near the apex. Who needs it? As we look to go through the S section ahead, got a bit more speed than the car ahead. Can we make a move into the straight? Keep tucked in behind as long as we can. Look to the inside. We get a wheel just alongside, hopefully enough to let him know or so he knows we're there. Not quite as he, little bit of contact. He looks to then shoot up the inside, squeeze his way up what should have been an impossible gap to retake 5th place. So there's going to be more work if we're going to try just even to get 5th place now to finish this race. It gets a bit untidy in the first part of this little S section in the second half of the lap. A bit slow. We get a bit on the grass, bit of contact in the back as we get untidy and not able to make a move because of that mistake from us. Look to try and cut in on the corner if we can. We missed the apex as well. As Breezy ahead of us, we managed to get a bit tighter, so a bit of a better line, but maybe with a better corner from us, we might be able to get alongside on the straight. Bit of contact again into the back as he goes into the grass, runs wide, and we're going to come through into 5th, going into the final corner, pick up an extra place. So a better race than previously, but with a big comeback. But hopefully this sets us up well for the next race. Bit of confidence back in the car that we like. Once again in the 911 for this final race, starting in 4th after some better qualification. Into turn 1, can we get anything to happen? We go slightly wider of the cars ahead, just gives a bit of room, bit on the grass there, and both cars have lost it on the inside. The Ferrari and the GTR both getting untidy and allowing us to get through just by hanging slightly on the outside. Us missing the apex of corners has finally come in handy. But what this now does is sets us up for a battle for the lead with the German ahead of us, a rivalry with so much history, Britain versus Germany. This could be an electric battle here. But hopefully with 2 World Wars and a World Cup on our side, the Brits can add another victory to this rivalry. The glorious D-Class Group 3 race round Kyoto will be the diamond on top, I think, of this rivalry. But we're not making any progress into the back of the driver ahead of us early in this first lap. So there's going to be a lot of work to do, just over a second ahead of us. So it's not looking good for us early on, as we're not able to close this gap back. Through the air spends at the end of the lap, we run a bit wide, made a little bit of grass, a little bit too wide on the exit there. Thankfully, don't lose too much time into the final bend. We're able to keep a nice tighter line. Can we get on the power early enough? Not quite. We're not really making any time back on the straight. Just a second ahead of us. So we're going to go through the second lap here. Not really making any progress still. Ever so slightly brought it down a bit. Lost it again for the middle section. Back to a second behind as we come into the final sector. See if we can have a good sector here. It's not to be as we head into the grass, into the barrier. They're going to slow us right down as we head into the final corner. And what this also means is that 3rd place here is going to come up the inside of the final bend and take 2nd place. To strengthen the German side of this rivalry, we now have 2 Germans versus the 1 Brit, both ahead of us. We're going to look if we can take the place back into turn 1. We're going to play it safe, brake slightly earlier, not go for a move into this corner. We have plenty of time left still in the race. Before that, I just wanted to make sure nice and tidy. Didn't want to run into the back of the car ahead and ruin our race. So nice and tidy through the S-bends, trying to get a bit of slipstream if we can. But as you see, as we come to the end of the lap, untidy into the final S-bends. We've not really made any progress at all after lap 3. As we come through this final bend here, wanting to get a nice exit. Oh, and the leader has spun around all on his own without any contact and has given up the lead of the race. The fellow Porsche who was ahead of us is now dropped all the way down, which puts us back into a 2-car race. So we're going to start the final lap here. Still about a second behind the leader. With plenty to do. We've not been able to cut the time back. He has been lapping fast enough with the fastest lap, as you can see on the left hand side. So it's going to be a tough ask to try and take the win here. But we're not going to back down from the challenge. Through the first sector of the lap, keeping it nice and tidy. We've brought it underneath 1 second now as we go through the first sector, and we've gone faster than we ever have before. We're really pushing for this win now. We try and tuck in on the left-hander late on, let the car drift out wide with a bit of curb. Nicely does it through here, carrying as much speed as we can as we come down the hill into the second S section of the lap. Take a nice bit of curb on the inside, and again, a little bit of grass there probably doesn't help us, but we get a decent enough exit that we can keep pushing on the back of this car. Let him know we're there. We'll be able to see us in our wing mirror as we come into the hairpin. He brakes very early, very slow by him, probably just trying to keep the car together, make sure he gets the car home. He knows that it's all on us for the work to do. Into the S-bends, he brakes early again and brakes a long way for the corner. He's so slow for the S-bends, gives us a chance here, right on the back into the final corner. Can we put a move in on the final corner? We look outside, look to maybe tuck inside as we can. He gets a bit untidy. Oh, we've ghosted through the back, which should have been contact, but the GTR has lost it, and we've been able to come through and take the win on the end, recovering our driving ability, showing that we have an ounce of driving ability there, especially after that first race. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe.